Story of Job has always been an impressive story to me. Just the thought that a man could lose so much, go through so much, and still come out with just an amazing perception and understanding of the sovereign God himself. Reading through just even the first chapter just makes you stop and ponder that this whole story of Job and being tried and the whole cosmic battle that really sparked this whole issue, Job suffering off, was a contest between God and Satan. And in the first chapter there it says that Satan came to the throne of God after he had been walking to and fro all over the earth. And that might not necessarily scare us as Christians, because we have the power of Christ that dwells within us, and greater is he who is in us than he who is in the world. But nevertheless, that doesn't bode very well. I mean, you stop and think about that, or what Peter says, that Satan prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone whom he may devour. We just know that Satan is actively looking for key opportunities on key individuals, I believe, to really create havoc and to try and test their faith. And we have that situation here in Job. And here Job is, God says, when Satan comes to him in his presence, and after Satan has been roaming to and fro on the earth, God says, and quite frankly, I think this is the scariest part of the entire book, he says, "Have you considered my servant Job, who is righteous?" And Christ, or God, puts Job on the spot and actually volunteers Job in a cosmic battle with Satan for Satan to go after Job. And then Job says, yeah, well, he's happy and everything's fine with him, sure, because you've built a hedge around him. And so he accuses Job in front of God, Satan is, that is, and he says, sure, Job is righteous because you've blessed him so much with so many things that make him wealthy and happy. And the Lord basically gives Satan permission to remove everything from Job except his very life. And so really the book of Job is not about Job's sufferings. The book of Job is about the fact that no man, including someone who was tried like Job, can be taken out of the hand of God. It is about eternal security, because everything was thrown at Job and yet he didn't sin. It said at the end of chapter 1, all these things happened 4 times. His oxen were taken, all of his wealth. It said then his camels were taken, and then all of his sheep and the rest of his flocks were then killed and taken. And then the last, and no doubt the worst, was while all of his children were assembled together, a strong wind came and brought down the house that they were in, and all of his children died. All this, it says at the end of chapter 1, it said Job's response was Job worshipped. He bowed down and he worshipped. It's amazing. It's just very hard for any of us to put into something that will correspond to that today. It would be losing everything. And yet Job worshipped, which is the whole foundation of the book. And then we know the story. He gets horrible advice from all of his friends. But in the end, God has a tremendous dialogue, actually a monologue with Job. And we'll get to that eventually. But what an amazing reality. The fact that even if Satan is roaming to and fro, even if God gives permission, just like he gave Satan permission to sift Peter, but then when Christ told Peter that, he said, but I've prayed for you. And so when you're done being tested, strengthen your brethren. What a glorious reminder and a confidence that we are in the hands of the great shepherd, and no man can snatch us out of it. Couldn't snatch Job, couldn't snatch Peter, and he can't snatch us if we are followers of Christ. So let our hope, our focus, and our security be on the one who holds us, and no man can pull out of his hand.